Hello, good evening, everyone. Welcome to my Personal Finances PodCat, episode 49. Today, we're going to talk about upskilling. So, we hear about upskilling a lot, but what exactly is that, and why does upskilling matter, and what is the best way to upskill? So, today, we're going to have a chat with Howie, who is the CEO and founder of Forward School, a revolutionary technology and future skills school based in Penang, Malaysia, as he shared with us how this non-orthodox school equips aspiring tech professionals with industry-ready skills required for the fast-moving tech sector. So tune in to learn all about real-world digital upskilling from the Southeast Asia's leading school of new technologies for students of all ages. So without further ado, let's welcome Howie and Stephen to the show.
Hi everyone.
Hi Howie, hi Steve,
Hi,
welcome to the
Howie.
show. All right, so for the benefit of our audience, could you please briefly introduce yourself?
Yep, I guess
Howie,
people are
yeah,
still
go for it.
coming in. Yeah. So my name is Howie, and I'm the CEO of Forward School. So I think Catherine has made a very good introduction. So if you haven't heard that very clearly, so we are a tech school, and I would say that we are a tech school of a certain kind. Where our mission is ready to bridge the widening digital skills gap globally by making quality tech education accessible to all. And of course, to help companies to enable their workforce to upskill and reskill as well. So we do this via our tech and future skills programs, both for high school leavers like the SPM leavers, the UEC leavers, and of course the existing workforce. Like what Catherine mentioned, we have our campus located right in the UNESCO Heritage Core of Georgetown, Penang.
I'm originally from Penang as well, and I haven't had the chance to go back to Penang to actually visit the school. And that's the first thing I'm gonna do. Once the MCO is over and we can travel again. So just looking
Right.
forward to that. Yeah.
Yes, please do come by. I knew Steve from way back, right?
Yeah. Way back. We are both old frees, so for any old frees tuning in, this is a shout out to you guys as well.
Yes.
All right, Howie, thanks for the introduction. In order for our guests to know you a bit more, our audience to know you a bit more better, so we also have a quick fire questions. So the first one is, could you tell us what motivates you in life and work?
I think. Well, I'm not so ready for this. It's fire.
That's the whole purpose, man.
Actually, I'm supposed to not think, right?
Yeah, just go
yes.
for it.
So yeah, what really motivates me is really my family. That's one, and two, I think it's really the desire. As an entrepreneur, I desire to make an impact in the society as well as the company that I built. Yeah.
Wow.
All right. So next is, what is your personal definition of financial independence?
Financial independence, I guess, you have no loans, you can relocate to anywhere.
Sorry, what did you say there? No notes, is it?
No, as in no, you are free from debt.
Okay. Okay.
So in a way, that's financial, independence to me, and having the ability to basically be anywhere I want to be without having the burdens of being tied down to a certain place. Again, because of certain maybe financial responsibility that you might have.
Right. That sounds like a digital nomad to me, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sounds like the focus is freedom. So that leads to the next question, which is, how do you save and invest?
I saved. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I try to invest as much as I can, and I try to diversify and learn new things. And I try to take calculated risks. I think today you have quite a number of products out there, and I think to a certain extent there are a lot of people who are fearful as well. But I've always believed that with knowledge you can reduce the fear, and therefore I guess it's very apt for us to talk about today as well, which is upskilling and reskilling, and that's all about learning new things.
Yeah, I was just telling the members in our private My Personal Finances Facebook group that the best investment really is an investment in yourself, and that's why you need to be here to this evening hearing Howie actually talking about digital upskilling. It's really so essential, man.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, so what is your favorite quote?
Favorite quote, I guess, being a techie, I would say, and I've been repeating this quite often, and that's software is eating up the world. It still is, and in fact, software and AI, it's eating up the world. That's by Mark Andreessen. He's a renowned investor in Silicon Valley.
Wow, that's a great quote, man. I was half worried when Catherine asked you that, you would take it as what's your favorite piece of code, and then you'll start telling us about programming code, actually. Thanks that you got that, man.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is gonna be interesting. But all the questions were interesting. Every time we have time, we have fun like asking guests this. So
Okay.
next one is a random question game. So I will just say, hold on. All right. So it's a question that's generated out of 20,000 like combination. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's totally random. So it's meant to be random. So I'll just read out your question to you. All right. So your next business startup will be most likely named Muffins McMuffin Face or
Okay.
a Lichtenmeeren with a bracket 24 hours.
What's the first one again?
Mm. I feel like I'm playing myself, like asking this question. But the first one is a Muffins McMuffin Face, and
I think I like the first one better, and I think I quite like eating muffins.
all right. So would that be a food business, or
I
it would be a tech business, but with a name?
Yeah,
Food?
maybe it's a muffin delivery business powered by technology.
Yeah, food tech, man.
Food tech.
Muffin McMuffin is gonna just change the entire world.
All right. Okay. So let's go straight to the question. So, what is upskilling, and why is it important? And also, how does it compare to reskilling?
Yeah, I think upskilling is basically I mean there's both upskilling and reskilling involves picking up new skill. So that's no no question about that. But if you really want to differentiate the two, I guess upskilling is the process of learning new skills, or teaching your staff or your employees or yourself new skills um, uh, for a job that you currently have, so that you can be better at your job. While reskilling is basically the process of learning new skills so that you can do a different job. So again, I guess that's the difference. But again, both involved and imply learning new skills. And upskilling is basically, like what I've mentioned, current job, and you are trying to improve yourself so that you can do your current job better and more effectively for yourself as well as for your organization. Whereas reskilling is basically you are trying to switch, to another role, perhaps. Yeah.
Right. So, why is it so important to the upskill? Whether it's
Right.
from personal view.
So my personal view that it is important to upskill. Again, we have to look at current situation. The COVID-19, and actually it exists already. The need to upskill is just that the entire pandemic hastened it. The entire pandemic makes it even more obvious that one have to upskill yourself, and not just as an individual, right? Organizations will have to change the way they function as well. And as an individual, I believe that we have a lot of individuals here today. You have to upskill because today's companies, today's teams, leadership teams are facing a tough reality. Your company is facing a very tough reality, especially in this pandemic. And we all know that tried and true ways of, again, like what I've mentioned, doing business are being rapidly changing and upended by new technologies and new competitors and, of course, customer expectations. And when the consumers or, the clients of the companies are demanding and having these expectations, like, for example, if you run a restaurant today and if you are not online, you are in trouble. It's as simple as that. You either have to be on GrabFood or you have to be on Delivery, for example, right? You have to have a website, or at the very least, you have to have a Facebook page, right, where people can go and call you and order, right? Especially in these times of MCO, though we can already go out. Right? And because of this, because of the customers' expectations, the clients' expectations, companies will have to change. And when companies have to change, then you as an employee have to respond. And you can only thrive if you are digitally savvy, you are future fluent. And companies nowadays, they are looking for employees who are agile, who are strategic, who are data-driven and resilient. And they need you to be that now. So I would say that if you can, differentiate yourselves by learning new skills, by upskilling yourself, then you will have an advantage in your organization. That's how I see it. And yeah, I cannot emphasize enough that organizations, they are transitioning to remote workers. They have to do things very differently. In fact, they have to pivot to entire new business models. So if you don't have that extra edge or knowledge or value to kind of contribute to your company, then I think you are not in a very good place. So obviously, all this is said, provided you have a growth mindset, right? If you are someone that do not have a growth mindset, very satisfied with just being at the status quo, then obviously all this doesn't quite make sense to you. But I believe that our audience today, all of you, do have a growth mindset. That's why you are viewing and listening in today.
Yeah. Saturday evening, rather than spending the time doing something else, here they are with us. And I'm just so curious, Howie, and I love some of the words, the phrases that you have used, future fluid, and I totally agree. Everyone needs tech, actually, no matter what sort of business that you're doing. With that said, what's your favorite story, actually, of that a student has told you, related to this?
If I understand your question correctly, as in, a student who managed to pick up new skills.
Yeah, who managed to pick up new skills and, been through forward school and is now like super forward now, what's their story?
Right. I mean, we are a rather new school, but we are no short of good testimonials in the sense. If you go to our Facebook page and all that, you can read them. But if I can kind of really highlight one, I mean, it's not like, wow, become superpowers or anything. But for our program, our 2 years program, what's unique about our program is that, from semester 2 onwards, our students will be attached to a company. And from this experience, and I'm very encouraged by this story because, this boy basically was attached and, the company just throw him something, right? And it's not about what the boy learns in the classroom, but rather, I guess, for us, we have been instilling the fact that, it's not what is given you, but do you have the ability to seek out the answers, right? It's not so much about the knowledge that we are giving you. Of course, we will be feeding you knowledge, but it's a lot about you taking the initiative to seek them out. Because in terms of and applying it, right? And so this story is basically, this company just throw him a very difficult challenge, which obviously we have not yet covered in school. But what I'm really encouraged about this boy is that he really go all out to check in with his instructor, to check in with everyone that he knows.
If I can just stop you right there, Howie, if you don't mind sharing, what is that challenge? I'm just so curious because you mentioned the challenge a few times, and I'm dying to know what is that challenge.
It's a very technical challenge, lah. So probably our audience here might not know. Basically, is to change. It has to do with some hex code and about translating that, right? Because it's an interface between the hardware and the software. So he will have to do some difficult programming tasks, which is not taught. And so what really encourages me is that, this boy go all out. And that's what we want to see in our students, right? It's not so much about what you know, because Google knows everything. The question is that whether do you know how to take the steps to find them, and whether do you have, the desire and the drive to solve a problem.
Right. Thanks for sharing that. I was looking at Kat's face while you were sharing that. I think she got the part where you said that it's a difficult programming challenge. Yeah. Then that the bell just went off.
I heard hardware and software too. Yeah, something about. Yeah, I don't know. Linking hardware to software. That's what I could capture from that. Well,
speaking of skills as well, before Kat throws you the next question. Yeah. We have a lot of folks tuning in. And here's Michael, and this is what he says that his superpower or super skill is. My upskill is how to sleep, and sleep. All right, thank you for that, Michael.
I'll take that as a joke.
Right, but to get a quality sleep, it's something very important to a lot of people, actually. Yeah, we all learn about this and that, without good sleep, it affects our health and all these things. It is a good skill. All right, so talking about all these skills, there are so many things to learn, but what skills do Malaysians need to focus on in order to be more successful?
Yeah, I think if you were to, just to highlight what, the World Economic Forum have, already shared, you should follow, their website. They published a very good article from time to time related to future skills. And if I may, I would like to kind of share on the screen as well. So Catherine, if you can put it up.
Right.
Yeah, so this is from a World Economic Forum. I'm not going to invent something entirely new. And this has been researched upon. And, what we can see here is 2022 skills outlook and the growing skills, right? And what this kind of basically means is that these are the skills that you'll need to have to be future-proof in a sense, to future-proof yourself in a sense. So the top is basically, analytical thinking and innovation. And then I'm just going to cover the top three. Second one is the active learning and learning strategies, right? And that's what I talked about, right? Earlier, one of the students, right? It's about active learning, right? It's not about just sitting there and waiting to be fed, but what are you doing, right? Beside that.
And not necessarily just in the classroom, right? Yeah, that's interesting.
Exactly. And the third is obviously creativity, originality and initiative, and so on and so forth. So I would kind of really, encourage everyone to check out World Economic Forum. And of course, on the right-hand side, these are the declining skills, right? Declining, that doesn't mean that you don't need those skills. What that kind of really means is that it's a given, right? It's a given in which that you, these are the skills that you need to have, right? Like the last one, number 10, technology use. It's a given nowadays, right? If you tell people that you don't know how to use Microsoft Word, right? Something is definitely wrong somewhere, right? Or nowadays,
that's true, but that's so interesting. I did not expect to be on. I've never seen this. I need to go and subscribe to World Economic Forum right after this, but I did not expect to see technology actually on the declining list. That's just mind blowing to me.
right. And I would also like to show my second slide. I have two slides here. And this is my favorite, right? It's the Get Smarter Skills hierarchy. And if you can see here, at the very bottom, so if you know the Maslow
The hierarchy of needs. Yeah.
right, the hierarchy of needs, right? So this is basically skills hierarchy, which I like to kind of refer to. At the very base of it, it's what we call digital capability, right? And basically what this is saying is that expectation on digital capabilities, or sometimes we call it digital literacy, has expanded over the years, and there are also become an assumed skill for everyone, right? Every employee. Like what I've mentioned earlier, what once only included Microsoft Office, right? Now includes like Google G Suite, or recently G Suite changed their name to Workplace. So you need to know all this, like Slack. So my team uses Slack a lot. My students uses Slack a lot, and of course Zoom, right? What is everyone is very familiar with Zoom now, and all this acting as a digital skills foundation for every professional role, right? So it's a given. Then if you look at the second stage, where it's what we call a functional expertise, right? Where it's distinguishing skills, defining skills, and necessary skills. And this is basically due to the proliferation of data, and because of that, it has driven the demand for analytical and critical thinking skills. So if you remember the first slide, right, it talks about one of the needed skills is actually critical thinking, right? It doesn't matter from finance and marketing to other less obvious business functions. The ability to make use of data to interpret information and to extract insights, and this is what we call data science, right? To extract insights that inform decisions is very much needed nowadays in any organization. And then of course, in terms of interpersonal skills and leadership skills, because software is hitting up the world, because AI is hitting up the world, in terms of your interpersonal skills and leadership skills, it's so much more important nowadays, right? It has become a highly sought after, and leaders will kind of really need to effectively drive teams, right? Through radical change and uncertainty. We in this area, in these times, we call it, I think, if I'm not mistaken, we call it the VUCA world. We are living in the VUCA world. V stands for volatile, U stands for uncertainty, C stands for complex, A, okay, I can't really recall what's the other C and A. We can find it. Maybe Catherine can find that out, right? So you can search it up. So it's a VUCA world, right? And so this becomes kind of really important, and I'd like to refer to this. So I hope that this is helpful for you, right? So again, digital capability is a given, and then you'll need to have some level of functional expertise, right? And then you definitely need analytical and critical thinking, right? And then you really need interpersonal and leadership skills to make a difference in your organization. Yeah, thanks. Yeah. So it's volatile, it's uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. Yes. So this is the world that we are living in right now.
All right, totally interesting stuff as well, and sometimes you are right, it is kind of forced upon us. I'm now daily on Slack as well, and that actually happened because Naluri is a financial wellness app where I'm one of the coaches on, kind of force all the coaches to go on Slack whether you like it or not. So there I am, and I'm adopting that as well. I can't help but also notice that there are a couple of the three little circles below, especially the rocket stands out to me. Maybe I'm thinking of crypto, that's why the rocket stands out to me. But yeah, you want to tell us a little bit about the three circles there as well?
Yeah, sure. The three circles is more of the color code. It's not so much about the icon. So if you look at the colors, the green, right, is basically the signal abilities that will help you stand out from your competition, which is your analytical and critical thinking, right? And in Forward School, we basically, teach that through our daily stand-up meetings for our students. So for those who are not, really know about these terms, stand-up is basically in the development world, in the software development world, you have your daily stand-ups meeting where it's basically 15 minutes. Everyone will gather around, and there's just three questions that you will need to answer. One is what I've done yesterday.
It's not about there's no chairs, is it, in the meeting room, so everyone is forced to stand? That's not it.
No, we stand because we don't want to get into a habit of telling grandfather story, and because a functional agile teams tend not to have too many meetings, and every meeting that we have tend to be very purposeful. So we try not to sit in a round table because that will make everyone just talk more. So we want to just focus on three questions. And the first one is they'll have to articulate what they have done yesterday. The second question is what they plan to do today. And the third question is basically, is there any challenges that will stop me from accomplishing what I want to accomplish today? So they are forced to basically articulate this, and you will be surprised that a lot of the high school students that when they first came in, they just struggle with this, right? They are just not comfortable thinking things through, articulating, and basically standing in front of a small group to share their thinking.
Thanks for the very insightful information. So, so from King Ken, for school people don't sit much one. So keep moving forward.
Yep. And then sorry, I left halfway, right? Then the color code is the pink, which is skills that allow you to perform your specific functions, your core competency, right? For example, if you are hired as a software engineer, then you have to code lah. You have to know how to code lah, right? And not just code, you have to know how to test your code, ensure that your code is clean and proper documentation, right? So that's basically the core competency. If you are hired as an accountant, then it is a given that you will know how you'll know how to do your numbers, right? And then of course the third one is the assumed skills necessary for doing most professional jobs. And that's what I meant by, you'll have to know how to use cloud solutions like Google Documents, right? Gone are the days whereby you have your documents version 10 or 11, and each time
on a floppy disk,
right? So everything should be on cloud now. So if your organization is not on cloud, then you better do something.
Right.
Yeah, and go ahead, Kat.
Go on.
Sure. No, I was just going to comment a bit, and then I have a question for Howie as well. And I totally agree on the core competency what Howie was talking about. So I'm more or less known in more on the personal finance space. I work as a licensed financial planner. A lot of people don't know though that my bachelor's was actually in IT. My bachelor's was actually in computer science. I majored in programming actually, right. So I can totally vouch for what Howie is saying. And I was just actually really just looking through the Forward School website, and it's really cool. I really love your site. What really caught my eye was that you all actually have programs, I believe, on deep learning. I'm really curious to hear more about that deep learning.
So deep learning is thanks for asking, because it's one of our more popular programs. Maybe because they don't understand. So whatever that they don't understand, they think it's good, right? So
the word deep helps, right? So deep,
yeah,
so cheap, man.
the word, yeah. So basically, deep learning is part of AI. So we know that AI is artificial intelligence, and in artificial intelligence, you have your data science, you have your machine learning, then you have your deep learning. Deep learning is basically a specialized area within machine learning, whereby the users, and most notably when people talk about deep learning, it's about using a vision learning, right? I'm sure you have seen examples of demo of people using camera to learn uh, what is whatever that is being captured by the video itself, right? They will know that this is a human, and not just that, they know that this human is sitting down or standing up. I'm sure some of y'all might have seen the demo whereby they can detect whether the person is wearing a mask or not. So all this is deep learning, considered deep learning. Specifically, it's a lot about vision learning as well. One of my
Can you give us
investor,
one? Sorry, you can continue on, but at the end, would love if you could give us a use case as well.
right? So one, yeah, I wanted to share about that. So one of the my investor is actually Vitrox. Vitrox is basically based in Penang, Batu Kawan, but they are a listed co, and they are one of the better performing stocks in Bursa, and they are actually in the electronics as well as semicon industry. And what they do is they build these machines, these high-tech machines, with vision, with deep learning in a sense, with machine learning and using vision, right? And what they do is basically, PCB boards. You have all these electronic boards, right? So they build machines to capture a vision of it, and from that vision, they'll be able to identify what is wrong with the board. If there's any, what do we call that? If there's any error, right, in the board. This is just a very simplistic example, and what used to accomplish using human vision now is being done using machine vision in a sense.
Wow, that's really amazing.
Yep, very, very interesting. Right. So, what role does Forward School play in upskilling for the digital economy?
I would say, the role that we kind of play is it's a few-fold. Obviously, we exist because there is a gap, and this gap is basically between the future skills and the tech talent gap with what the industry really needs. It's not just a Southeast Asia problem. It's a global problem. With an estimated 1.4 million computing and engineering positions that needs to be filled by this year, the skills gap is very much in need of closing. But however, studies have predicted that universities, traditional universities I'm talking about, will only graduate, approximately only X numbers of computer science graduates by that time. So the industry really needs more and more of such tech skills graduates, but we are just not producing enough. We are producing, But I think where Forward School comes in is more towards the applied education perspective. As you know, a lot of our traditional education institution is very much academic based. At times, it's overly academic. And I can go on and share about this, but yeah, but it's a real issue, and one of the reasons that we exist is also because technology roles again are so challenging to fill. As traditional education institution programs are just not keeping up. And this is not by any means their fault. This is because it's very challenging for universities to keep up, simply because their KPI in a sense is very different. They are very much research based. So they are very academic in a sense. Their KPI is basically writing papers so that it can be published in a journal. Not so much on commercialization, not so much on ensuring that you really going to be able to apply once you graduate. Which is why on average, companies, they spend almost 8 months to a year to retrain the employee that they have just hired. They just completed a 4-year degree. You cannot assume that they will know what to do. And so organizations, they need to pay your salary, and they still need to pay the time for you to really start contributing to the company. So we want to solve that. And we believe that we can do that because as much as possible in terms of Forward School, a lot of our instructors are from the industry. And in fact, a lot of them are still practicing, like myself. So it's very different, yes.
Right. Do you teach any of the classes or courses yourself, Howie?
Yeah, I focus not so much on the tech modules, but rather on the entrepreneurship. We do have a few entrepreneurship modules, and then we also cover what we call the project management or product management skills. Topics like product. I mean, you hear a lot about project management here in Malaysia, but you rarely hear about product management from a digital perspective, right? A digital products perspective. And now, product management is basically the intersection between the UI UX, which is the user interface, and the user experience. Is very important nowadays. Anything that you see on the screen is user interface, right? It's user experience. You go to McDonald's, you try to order something, you're ordering through a machine now. And what you see on the screen, all of that needs to be designed, right? Needs to be laid out. So that's the design element of it. And then you have the engineering team that builds it, right? After it's been designed. And then obviously you have the business people that make, the business model needs to make sense to generate the revenue. So product management, so when we train our students, it's not so much about just, training to become a software engineer, but also, about training you to really understand your function in light of the product management perspective, that you'll need to work with the business stakeholders, you'll need to work with the designers, and of course, you need to be good in your core competencies as well, which is programming. So I teach stuff like that.
All right. So, if you want to attend a course teach by Howie, you know where to find him actually. Yeah, especially on entrepreneurship. Yeah, product design sounds awesome. Yeah, I might enroll for it one day, so don't be surprised. I show up at your class.
Yeah, we do have short courses. Ranging from 3 months. We do have a month course as well. In fact, we have just launched our digital upskill program. It's been popular. This is March will be our second cohort. So for those who kind of really want to pick up something new, yeah, feel free to browse our website.
Yeah, and this is a personal finances podcast. Podcast, so I'm so happy when you brought up about cost as well. Cost is important, right? Whether you're an organization or even yourself as an employee or entrepreneur, you're talking about the return of investment. As
Yeah.
you actually investing not just money, you're investing your time, your resources, which are
Yes.
very even more valuable, really into it. And I saw actually this was really interesting to me that some of your programs actually have 0% cost, but there's something like an income share agreement. What in the world is that?
Right. So income share agreement is, in fact, it's very new. Uh, yeah, very new to this part of the world. In fact, I would say that we are the first school that introduces this. Income share agreement is basically the concept whereby you don't you pay very little, in fact, to start studying. So we want to make sure that cost is not uh, your cost is not a
Like a
barrier for
burden
you to
or
enroll.
barrier, right?
Yes,
Right.
yes, yes. So you get to enroll by paying. At this point in time, it's a very minimum. You only need to pay 3,000 ringgit to enroll in our 2 years program, and you will study.
3,000
Uh,
for 2 years. Only 3,000. Not
yes,
3,000 every month, every quarter. No, 3,000.
yes. Let me complete, because obviously, if it sounds too good, then you should be aware, lah. Uh, so let me continue. So yes, you pay only 3,000, so that's a good thing, right? So you don't worry about it, but you know you only pay the rest once you get the job, right? Once you get a job. So what this means is that it's not a loan. We don't see it as a loan. It's part of our investment into you, right? And we are taking the risk, right? So, for example, if you just pay us $3,000, you come and study for 2 years, and you, for whatever reason, you didn't manage to get a job. Guess what? We don't get paid. So for us, is income share agreement. It's really about accountability to me. For the longest time, I think, when a school, they teach their students uh, whether or not the student will get a job, or whether or not they are applying what they have learned in that few years. There's very little accountability, because basically, after you graduate, you skip out already, right? I mean, whether you study computer science and then you ended up as a I don't know what, then
Careful there, if you say anything, you might,
yes, yes. No, that's why I'm
upset
not
certain
saying
people.
anything. Yeah, that's why I'm not saying anything. Whatever job, lah. But my point is that, you spend 4 years doing, let's say, software engineering, right? Uh, you you should ended up doing that, right? Obviously, you picked up other skills as well in school. I'm not saying that universities, in the sense that is useless and all that. In fact, I am a university graduate, right? I have a diploma, I have a degree, and in fact, for us, our 2 years program, we are working towards an accreditation. We value it, we understand that, right? But what I'm trying to say here is that there's very little accountability, and so income share agreement puts that accountability back, and it forces the school to, basically, we have to make sure that you get a job, lah. If not, we won't get paid, lah. It's as simple as that. So ISA is not about you not paying. You don't need to pay. You need to pay it later, but we prove ourselves first. You prove yourself first, then only we talk about the money later.
And
Yeah, I think
just yeah, go ahead, Kat.
I think like it's so true. Isn't it so common that we see so many people like study this, get a degree of like IT or something else, and then they go become sales, sell something, or just basically, invested their 3-4 years in something and then end up doing something else. I
Right.
think this is a very good initiative.
Are you
Yeah.
talking about yourself, Kat?
No, I studied business. Yeah, and I'm in financial planning, so it's still something to do with the numbers. I still
Right.
kind of thank the degree that brought me into this. Yeah.
No, I think those you see years are really important, right? But
Mm.
we at Forward School feels that, hey, it's which is why we are quite focused. We are a tech school, right? And we are attracting those people who kind of really know what they want early on,
Mm.
or have an interest. And then what we are saying is that then I think we can be a very good alternative for you, right? Because of our focus, and we will help you get there.
Yeah, I think it's very important because I think it really helps a lot of youngsters who think they know what they want, and but they don't have the courage and don't have the support to pursue what they want because they might get like outsiders or their family like not believing what they believe in, especially when it's something that is so new. It's a skill that as one of those that you mentioned before, that it's even
Right.
hard for us to comprehend. Like it's hard for their family to actually support them. Actually, I can totally understand. So that is a very good initiative. So back
Yeah.
to you, Steve.
Yeah. I was just gonna ask, and you don't have to answer Howie if it's too sensitive. All right, so
Right.
brace yourself. All right, but I think any investment needs to make sense, right? You are a business as well. It needs to be profitable. Any business, even if it's, let's say, a non-profit organization, cash flow still is the lifeblood of business. It needs to be to generate, to continue
Of course.
running, of course,
Of
right?
course.
So you guys are really, I feel, taking a risk, taking a leap of faith. Isn't it not getting paid upfront? So with that, what is your confidence level of students coming in that they are going to be successful? So what are your metrics, or your
Right.
indicators behind that?
Right. So the income share agreement is actually not the only program that we have, right? And actually, we have other financial aids as well. For example, we have so our 2 year program is not all powered by ISA, right? In the end of the day, I think some people prefer to pay upfront because for the ISA, there are some charges involved as well because we are taking the risk in you as well. So in the end of the day, you will be paying more in a sense. If let's say if you were to pay upfront. And we have other financial aids as well. For example, like we work with the ECM Libra Foundation, where for our B40 students, we serve a lot of the underserved community. So for the B40 group, we have a free interest loan. So that's something that the students can tap into. And we work very closely with the industry as well. We call it the SSP, the Student Sponsorship Program, where we link deserving students, performing students, and industry companies that would like to build their talent pipeline in advance. And this has been working great for some of the companies that we partner with. This means that the company will pay for the entire tuition fee for the student. And basically, the student don't need to pay a single cent. In fact, they will, when they graduate, they will get a job with a minimum salary of 3,000. So back to sustainability. I think for us here at Forward School, we want to be sustainable, and from our model, from our financial modeling, we are juggling it quite well in a sense. Obviously, we are not yet profitable, but we are definitely on track.
All right, definitely sounds like a win-win situation there, and yeah, definitely wishing all the best to Forward School heading ahead. Yeah, over to you, Kat.
All right. So before we wrap this up, so what is that one big audacious habit or goal that you want our audience to take action right now?
Yeah, I was thinking about it as well, and I
Sorry,
think
Howie. Sorry, Howie. We have this tradition. Give me a minute. All right, better now. Go
I just
ahead.
wanted to see the cat. All right, over to you, back, Howie.
okay. So one big audacious goal or habit, I think it's really really being hungry to learn something. And I would really want to encourage our listeners here today to pick up a new skill, this month or next month. It's not a very big, audacious goal, but to some people, it can be very big. Some people, and it really depends again, whether you have whether you have a growth mindset or fixed mindset. And so I would like to challenge everyone to have a growth mindset, pick something new, learn something new this month or next month in a sense. And just to share an example, right? So for the longest time, I've been hearing people talking about cryptocurrency, and obviously in the early days it's all about ICO, and then obviously recently it's a lot about decentralized finance, DeFi.
And ICO is initial coin offering, just as a bit of jargon if anyone's unfamiliar with the term.
Right. So all this is cryptocurrency related, and I must say that kid you not, I'm not very familiar with the area, but I took it upon myself to pick it up, to learn something new. And as what I've mentioned earlier, right, when you have no knowledge, then it might strike fear in you, right? So I think it's really about picking up knowledge. So I decided to learn about decentralized finance. I learned what staking is. All these are jargons, right? What is exactly ICO? What exactly is decentralized finance, and how come people can generate basically cash flow from it? This is definitely not an endorsement of anything cryptocurrency, but I'm sharing from the perspective of learning. So once I learned about it, then I realized that I'm not so fearful anymore, right? Again, it's the concept of, some of y'all might have fears of flying. Obviously now it's MCO, we don't fly anymore. But when you fly, sometimes you get frightened. When you fly, some people have fears of flying, and I do have a bit of fear of flying, but I am able to basically cast away my fears by learning about what do you call that? Why are they bumps, right? And you learn about it. You learn about aerodynamics, for example. You learn about the air bumps and why it happened, and why is this normal. So you read up about it. So so that's one habit that I would kind of really love our audience today to pick up. Do not be fearful. Always be kind of really hungry to learn something new, even though it is totally out of your field, it is totally out of your industry. So that's.
Thanks for sharing that, Howie. And I think it's so true that we cannot let our past or whatever is behind causing us fear, but instead we should definitely look forward actually, and the learning part really helps so much as well. Just a super quick question: if I want to learn more about crypto and blockchain and all that, can I learn that at Forward School?
At this point in time, no, but who knows, right? Maybe we'll introduce, because it's very interesting. A lot of people, even for myself, right? I consider myself kind of really just learning. And even from a technical standpoint, the entire blockchain technology, what excites me is really about the technology behind it. Obviously, right now, the implementation of it, right? It might be dubious. It might come in the form of all these cryptocurrencies, but I'm looking forward to the day whereby the technology itself will be applied across board and to more industry. But at this point in time, obviously, the use case of the technology itself, blockchain, is best seen, right, in cryptocurrencies at this point in time, and obviously in ICOs previously, and that basically burst. And obviously, right now, we are seeing a trend towards decentralized finance, which I think is very, very promising.
Yeah, definitely no Dogecoin over here. And I'm just going to jump in with a super quick advert actually. Next Thursday, 8:30 p.m., join us on Clubhouse if you're an iOS user. We are actually going to be talking about crypto and Bitcoin actually. And among the folks, guests coming up is Kariku, which some of you may know. So he will actually be talking a little bit on the tech side of it as well, while we tackle both the fin and the tech part about crypto and Bitcoin. All right, back to you, Kat.
All right. Thank you so much for being with us this evening, sharing of all this insightful knowledge. I think all of our audience will actually benefit from this. All right.
Sure.
All right. Thank you, Howie.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Howie,
Howie.
so much. I think Kat's going to kick us off stage, but yeah, let's hang out in the backstage while Kat wraps this up. And yeah, see you in a little bit, guys.
Thank you all. Thank you for having me in the show.
All right. Thank you, Howie. Hi, thanks for watching. Thanks for staying with us this evening. I really enjoyed learning from Howie. I think I hope you guys did too. I think the one thing that I really learned from him is that for the hungry ones, continue staying hungry. Challenge yourself. Probably start from something small. Every month, start picking up something new, a new skill that is totally different from your own field. And for the ones who are being held back from with the fear of learning something new, try by something really, really small, and even try by just start picking up the mindset of the growth mindset instead of the fixed mindset. Right. So as usual, you can find the show notes and links on our website, mypf.my/podcat. I'll see you in the next episode. See you soon. Next up. Hasta pronto.